Entrepreneur Interview by Jacob Myers. So I interviewed Bobby Emamian, the CEO and founder of Prolific Interactive. When I talked to Bobby, I wanted to learn a little bit more about kind of how Prolific got to where it is today and where they started and kind of the path that they took. Prolific started here in Hamden since Bobby was a Quinnipiac student. They started out mainly doing websites for local businesses and fighting to stay alive. Then they moved into Facebook apps, and now they're mostly involved with mobile apps for mobile devices. They started out as a very small company, and now they're one of the main players in the mobile agency industry, and they have offices in both Brooklyn and San Francisco. When I talked to Bobby, there were a couple different things that I wanted to keen in on. The environment was one of those. Bobby said that the environment was the one thing that really attributed to Prolific success. And he said that the people that work at Prolific provide the best possible work environment that he could have ever hoped for. Um, Now, how do you set up something like this and how do you get an environment like this is something that I kind of wanted to dig a little bit more into. And he said that the main thing was he let people be inspired by what they do. Um, he didn't have the office setup that you had to come in from 9 to 5 every day. Your hours were a little bit more flexible. You had a little bit more freedom on the things that you were able to work on. And by letting people become inspired by the things that they were doing, it helped drive them and help brings Prolific to where it is today. Another thing that I wanted to kind of look into was um, the process that they use when looking for new members to add to the Prolific family. He said that when they looked for a new member to join the Prolific team, the resume was just something that kind of got you in the door and got you that interview, but figuring out how somebody will respond to the Prolific environment was something that they took very seriously. Um, Having such a free and important environment was something that they weren't willing to compromise, not knowing if somebody will respond well. Another thing that I wanted to look into was how Prolific received its contracts to work for a company or provide its service. Now, when I talked to Bobby, he said that there were a couple different ways that they acquired new companies to work for. One was a request for a proposal. And the way Bobby explained that to me was that a company will reach out to a handful of different mobile agencies and tell them what they want done for their company. And then all of the companies that they reach out to enter into a bidding war to try and gain the rights to that company. So pretty much what he explained was that it was a tournament, simplified, a tournament to see who could get the rights to that company. Otherwise, um, he really put an emphasis on things will never just be handed to you, and if you need new clients, you need to go find new clients. So a lot of Bobby's nights would be involved with events or dinners with future clients or possible clients, and um, the biggest thing for him was that you need to find a company that you believe needs your service and then show them why there's a need for that service and show them how you can make them money and show them how you can make their online applications and mobile apps produce more revenue for that company. The last thing I wanted to talk to Bobby a little bit about was if he had any advice he could give a future entrepreneur. The first thing he said was, just like the Nike commercials, just do it. If you're scared to attempt something, then you'll never know if it'll end up working. The second thing was that you have to learn how to deal with your failures. If you don't know how to deal with failures, then it's going to be a really long and hard process for you. But if you can figure out how to respond positively to a failure and learn from your mistakes, that's when you know that you'll be successful or have a better chance of being successful. And the last thing that he really emphasized was that you don't want to live live with regret. He said that there's always a possibility that something's going to fail or you're not going to achieve a goal, but living with the regret of not trying to accomplish it is far worse than the embarrassment or the negative feelings that you can get from a failing business. Overall, I really enjoyed speaking with Bobby and learned a lot. Thank you.